It's time for City Beat, your source for all the latest news on the city of Thompson. Only on 102.9 CHTM, your radio station.
And welcome to City Beat here on 102.9 CHTM. I'm Sue O'Brien, and I'm joined in the studio today by Mayor Dennis Fenske. So welcome, Dennis.
Good morning.
I'll get you to give our listeners a recap of what you've been up to this past week and what's happening at City Hall.
We've got a municipal board hearing this evening at 7 o'clock at the Legion. This is for the wastewater treatment plant funding, and so we're doing a presentation to the board, and there are some presenters from local businesses as well. So at the Legion, 7 o'clock, more than welcome to come out. This past week, unfortunately, there was the significant incident in Orlando. City of Thompson lowered the flags in recognition of that event, and I'll be speaking to it on Monday at Council. Again, we have a strong component and community in our community of the LGBTQ community, and we offer our thoughts and prayers with them as everyone goes through this terrible tragedy that happened on Sunday.
All right, thanks. And I remind listeners that they can get their questions into us here at 102.9 CHTM by calling 677-8181. So Dennis, I know that water lines are being flushed around the city, and what's the purpose of that, so people know?
Well, basically, over time, the water lines underground build up a sludge within them, and that restricts the flow of water. So what we do is we flush the lines to try and remove any of the grit that's in there to make the water pressure remain as it is at roughly 50 psi at your tap when you turn it on. So it's a preventative maintenance exercise that we go through. Okay,
and so how can people tell if their lines are being flushed?
Basically, we'll do a notice on our webpage, and also through notices to the specific areas. There may be some slight discoloration the day that the lines gets flushed, but basically if you run your taps for 30 seconds or so, if you notice a discoloration, that'll take care of it.
Okay. And you maybe give us an update on the second go-around of the census. I know last week you were talking about how people could just go to City Hall or call City Hall and let them know that they didn't have a census form yet, and then Census Canada would get on top of that. So have you received lots of calls?
We've had a few, actually. Census Canada has had a team in Thompson for the last week doing the follow-ups that they missed on the first go-around. We also, at City Hall, you can call City Hall at 204-677-7920 and give us your address. We did have a couple calls last week where people got missed, so we forwarded those addresses to the Census Canada people here in town. So you can still, there's no deadline at this date that we're aware of, so you can still call into City Hall if you missed the application, or you didn't fill it out online, or you didn't get it in the mail. Just phone City Hall and give them your address, and we'll forward that information, and then Census Canada will contact you.
Okay, and again, the reminder about why that's so important to us.
Cash. It's all about money in regards to transfer payments from the province and the feds. We have a lot of grants that are based on our census, and for every person that we get that misses or doesn't fill out the form over the 5-year period of a census, that could cost us up to $50,000 per person.
Wow, and that's a big chunk of cash, definitely.
Absolutely.
And there are some black pipes and other interesting looking items over by the Burntwood Plaza. So what's that all about?
That's our water main renewal program for 2016. So we'll be, they're just staging the material now. The work will be beginning shortly. It's going to come from the intersection of Cree and Selkirk, Fast Gas and the Public Safety Building. We're going to start there. We're going to come down Selkirk around to Station Road, and continue up to Nelson on the water main renewal. We're going to follow that up later this summer once for a paving project. We're going to pave from, again, that starting intersection of Cree and Selkirk, Fast Gas and Public Safety Building. We're going to come around to the professional building, just in front of the professional building, and that'll be the paving program for 2016. But the water mains will go from Cree and Station all the way up to Nelson and Station Road as well.
And you said that's going to start soon, and roughly how long will we be looking at that being
based
disrupted?
on last year, and again, it's weather dependent, we'll be directional drilling the pipes in, so they have to open up a hole, drill a pipe to another hole, and then do the connections. Basically, last year it took us, I believe, till about mid-August to complete the pipe work, and then the paving was done August, September.
Okay. And this weekend marks Ballet's 60th anniversary celebrations here. Will you be involved in that at all?
Yeah, actually, there's a ceremony at 2 o'clock on Saturday at the TRCC. It's a celebration for Valley employees, but also for the community. Sunday, there's some community events at the Heritage North Museum, as well as the evening concert at the Lechman Theatre.
Okay. All right, so it's quite a monumental...
Absolutely, 60 years, long time, from Inco to Valet, and again, it's just a milestone in the growth of our community.
All right, great. And we have a couple things coming up next week that are pretty big. We have National Aboriginal Day and we have Nickel Days. So let's people maybe just remind them about what's going on and how best to enjoy themselves.
For sure. The Thompson Urban Aboriginal Strategy Committee is organizing the Aboriginal Days on June 21st. That'll be located at McLean Park and City Hall. And I believe that's noon or 1 o'clock on the 21st. That rolls right into Nickel Days weekend. Again, big weekend, starts on the Thursday, goes through to Sunday. The main feature band on Saturday evening is the Sheepdogs. We've got the National King Miner Contest. The Midway will be coming as well. So it's a big weekend. And then right after that, we roll into July long weekend for Canada Day celebration. So we've got 2 weeks of celebrations. Lots happening in our community. Lots of people coming into our community. So we're looking forward to hosting everybody.
All right. And is there anything else that you'd like to touch on before we wrap up?
Just a safety thing. Last weekend, the province had free fishing for no licenses required last weekend. Again, this weekend, the weather looks to be pretty nice. Lots of boats in and around the water. So just to make sure that, that you have the current boat operator's license to operate the boat, and those that are in the boats, that they have their PFDs on, and they have their whistles or ropes if they do get into trouble. But this is the time of year that everybody wants to get on the water, enjoy, have a safe weekend. We have great lakes up here, but also just be safe.
All right, that's great. Well, thanks for joining us for City Beat. Join us at the same time next week for the latest on what's going on in the city and at City Hall. For 1029 CHTM, I'm Sue O'Brien.
City